Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CADRE Animal Health Real Estate Channel. My name's Ron Evans, and I'm your host, coming to you from Austin, Texas. We are a family of commercial real estate companies, including CADRE Animal Health Real Estate and CADRE Construction, Bluefin Design, Kudu Realty Partners, and Paramount Company and Floors. And today we are joined by Brei Silvia from Live Oak Bank. Thanks for being with us yet again, Brei. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
As a reminder, the content that we provide is meant to be educational, helpful to you as you think about your next real estate project. If you like what we provide to you, please give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. And better yet, reach out to us. I'd love to talk to you personally about your next project. So, Brei, let's talk about picking a bank. And this is a chance for you to probably show off and talk a little bit about some of the great things that Live Oak does. But I think you can also talk in broad terms about the banking relationship. What does it look like when you're dating? And then how do you get engaged? And what does it look like when you're married? So give us some of your thoughts on that.
Sure. Well, what I've received from when I'm initially talking to a veterinarian or a decision maker is they care a lot about interest rate. They care a lot about fees. I can relate to that. I recently went car shopping and they wanted to charge a $25,000 markup for a convenience fee during this supply chain.
That doesn't sound very convenient.
No, it's not very great. During this supply chain chip shortage, I guess, that we're in the auto space. Obviously, I was taken back by that and was not willing to pay that. So I'm a consumer too, and we all are, and we're cognizant of prices, and we all want everything. We want the Taj Mahal, but we're also value oriented, right? We want
now, what is it? A champagne taste on a beer budget?
Pretty much, yes. And everyone wants that. I think there's a little bit of that in me as well. But I would say that from the most part, doctors do want to initially focus in on rate. And I think rate certainly is important. I mean, it's certainly cost of borrowing, but I can tell you countless number of stories where rate did not matter when on the back end there were increases, or you needed more money for equipment, or you ended up having to lease it or find another source of financing, or you had to borrow money from family members and friends because the bank's unwillingness to work or increase or to work around your budget. There are instances where, maybe you need a longer period of interest only, and you need a loan increase to cover your interest payment during construction because you are a borrower that has not been able to generate any new revenue out of this building, but the building's taking longer to construct. And we're seeing that where what may take 12 months now takes 15 months. So I think it's very important that you understand you're working with a lender that will work with you. Now, for Live Oak, and I don't mean to sound self-serving, in some respects it is, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. Live Oak, we are a lender. So we do not offer merchant services or insurance. We don't have a middle market, corporate, small business group, personal banker. We are not a traditional bank. We don't have any branches. Out of the 1,100 industries you choose from, we're in 35 industries, and veterinarian has been with us from day one. We only lend to veterinarians the first 2 years we were established. And so, I would just say to a borrower, it's another cog in the wheel is going through closing. You've provided all the documentation you need to get a loan approved, and you have no idea how much documentation you're about to provide when you go to closing, whether it's hazard insurance, life insurance, if you offer workers' comp, all your insurance requirements, to legal documentation, to review of maybe it's your real estate holding agreement between your lease agreement between your real estate holding company and your operating company, to working with title, your attorney, providing updated financial information, and all
you're scaring everybody right now.
I am.
Right?
All the general contractor requirements. Of course, we work with the general contractor. And there is a means of doing it. And the reason, this does sound a little bit as I'm bragging here, but it's more fact. There's a reason we're the number one SBA lender. And we keep it really, really simple, and we hold our borrowers' hands. And I would say it's very, very difficult for a lender. Any lenders out there listening would understand this, to be able to convey that to a borrower, that you're there for them when they won't really understand what the closing process is like until they've committed. Now they've committed, they've halfway put the ring on the finger, they've walked down the aisle, they're about to say I do, and there's no runaway bride or runaway groom. And you're way too far down that aisle to be able to turn around and go back and start working with another lender. So it's very difficult to convey. The one example or a couple examples I can give, remember the fires in California?
Oh, sure.
So we had an animal hospital, we had a couple that burnt down. And we, of course, work with their insurance company, work with another contractor. We went out and visited with them, had dinner at their home, brought in a meal, met the kids, met the husband, other family members there. Many of them had to move into other cities for lodging, for hotels, just to live. And I think that's very, very unique because in my prior life, that would not have happened. And it's nothing against the bank. They were just a big bank, and that's not what they do.
Right.
We are purely a small business lender and a proponent of that. And there's so many unique stories. I've had 2 borrowers in my lifetime, both veterinarians, that have died, passed away. And one was relatively young, running on a treadmill, and wife is 6 months pregnant with her first. And never had this happen. And, to be there for them and to be able to go through life insurance and the bank work through their life insurance and say, you know what, we're not going to take all the money to pay down the loan. We're going to help you. We're going to find a doctor to help you sell this practice. We're going to help you sell this real estate. We're going to give you some of the life insurance proceeds for you and your unborn. And to be able, at the end of the day, we're in a people business. This is not about profits. It's not about the greater good of the stock price of the bank. And I love that philosophy.
So I agree with you on all those things, but now let me be devil's advocate. So let's rewind kind of back to the start of this. It's like any relationship in our life, right? Especially kind of the significant other relationship, where we know that sometimes you don't know all this until you're even well past the honeymoon phase and you're in year 2 or 3 or 4. How does a borrower figure all of this out on the front end? Because those are great stories.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear those. That and I know Live Oak and I know you well, and I know those are true, right? But it seems to me a bit of a conundrum that a borrower is going to be able to look much past that term sheet because on that piece of paper, they don't see all of this. So that's what this episode's about, right? How do they ask their bankers? I don't even know that they would know these questions to ask. What's going to happen 4 months from now if my budget goes up? And we can help them in that.
I think they know. I think a great starting point, Ron, would be, is everything I've ever asked my banker, has it come to fruition? If what they provided me on the term sheet, is that exactly how my loan was approved? Have they been credible? Do they have to go to someone else to get the answer? Are they the decision maker? Is their credit manager a direct point of contact with them? Where are they located? Where is underwriting located? It's a big difference when, you're in, someone's in Florida and, your underwriter's in California. Okay, that's a big time zone difference, right? Or the ease of, have you met the team? I mean, with some lenders, you never talk to an underwriter, you never talk to anybody, you never even see your lender. In fact, we always do site visits. We always go out and meet with borrowers, and we do it before we even close on a loan. We go out and meet with them. And I've had countless number of people tell me, gosh, my local guy I haven't even seen in 4 or 5 months. And look, there's nothing against the local guy, okay? Sure. I'm just saying I think there's something to say about being personal, and there's something to say about, is what they're telling you what is actually happening? So
it's like everything that we're talking about in this process, whether it's the feasibility on the dirt, right? The land, I call it dirt, so I'm sorry. The feasibility on the land with the civil engineer, the various scenarios you will consider with your architect on the building, the pro forma and the budget and the business plan. It's a study, right? It's taking your time to vet, and maybe that's the answer you and I, maybe that's boiling it down, is it's really doing enough homework that you feel like you've looked beyond just the term sheet. Because I think what you're saying is the danger comes in relying too much on that and finding out once it's too late that it really was a bait and switch, or it really wasn't exactly what you, and so it may not be Live Oak every time. I don't get to build and develop every project I pitch, but can't imagine why.
Well,
But
well, and I would say the last comment here, running short on time, but I would say also it's always, I think, initial conversation. I think there will be a distinct difference in speaking with a veterinary lender and speaking with a lender that is great at what they do, but they serve the community overall.
Sure.
They work with the attorney, or they work with the local flower shop. They're serving their community. They don't service one industry.
Right.
And if as all veterinarians out there, if you talk to a veterinary lender and you don't you can't recognize the distinct differences, then I would say the veterinary lender has not done their job very well.
Right. And you talked in one of our previous episodes about collaboration. And I think that collaboration is really, really critical. You're looking for the people on your team not just to have a chemistry and to feel good about them, because this is a bumpy road, and you want somebody that gives you a steady hand through this process. But you're also looking for, in today's world, specialty, right? You're looking in banks who specialize in this niche. Like us, we specialize in development and construction and design of animal hospitals. There are a lot of vendors in this process that you want to know they've got the expertise in that particular niche. And obviously banking is just one of those. So.
Well, and reputation is everything. And then, Ron, when you're the only employee with the name Brei, that also matters.
Well, thanks so much. We appreciate the info. It's very helpful.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Talk soon.